Hey fans and subscribers, this is your host Joe on the Gaming for Insight channel with another video of Quick Chat. The topic, the state of the ROG Ally X in the second part here of 2025. Joining me is first-time guest Baldy Rudy. Baldy Rudy, welcome to Quick Chat.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, and thank you for having me on your show.
It's such a pleasure to have you. We're in an exciting year right now. Another one, actually. We have more handhelds on the horizon. Those coming with the HX370 that have already been released with the HX370. And we have a tendency to forget about the ones that we fell in love with or the ones that we enjoyed in 2023, 2024, like the ROG Ally X from 2024 that came after the ROG Ally originally in 2023. And you recently uploaded a video on your channel returning to the ROG Ally and what makes you return to it. And I've been inspired by that because I really love my ROG Ally X. So the question I have for you to start us off is what keeps bringing you back to the ROG Ally X even here in 2025?
Gotcha. So let's spoiler alert in terms of my video. There are three main things that make me always go back to my ROG Ally X. First and foremost, battery life. Battery life on any handheld is so important, and making sure that you have longevity of that battery life is important. Another thing that I think is really important is also the user experience that's there. And with the main competitor from Intel side is the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus and the 7 AI Plus as well, if you want to include that as well in the mix. But for me, AMD just has the drivers to support the games that are there. Things just run at a smoother frame timing. And when you combine that together, you have an overall better experience than you would on Intel side of things. On top of that, you have Bazzite OS. I've always been a fan of SteamOS, and this is kind of like a nice way of having that SteamOS experience and having that user experience that makes it easy to jump right into a game. Yes, there are some games that aren't compatible because of Windows and having anti-cheat software, especially for multiplayer games, but most of the games that I play are single player. So having something that I can just jump into whenever I want, have the battery power to go ahead and support it, and the flexibility of Bazzite OS, I'm a happy camper. That's just my go-to right now.
We have seen many videos on YouTube talking about how Bazzite on the ROG Ally X is the equivalent of the Steam Deck 2, which people are waiting for if that ever is to release. You mentioned or alluded to the APU, the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme, and how it does with AMD drivers compared to most games, how it's really mainstream compared to what we may be seeing on the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus and the 258V APU on that handheld. And so with the Z1 Extreme, how is it doing in 2025 compared to the other APUs that are releasing? And we even see in benchmarks compared to the 258V on the MSI Claw 8 AI Plus, it still does really well. And that driver support is robust so that you have that confidence of picking up a game knowing that it's going to run it. It's going to run it to some degree, and it's going to be at least playable.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, I think that most games are going to run on the Z1 Extreme chipset without any issues at all. The problem with Intel side of things is that it's really truly the drivers. There were issues when I was testing and comparing the two. When I saw artifacting, there were issues with some of essentially the atmospheric effects that were put in games. Primarily ones kind of like Returnal, where the fog was above your character as you were playing the game, making it virtually unplayable in certain sections of the game. So it kind of detracts and breaks that immersion that's there. I didn't have those issues with the drivers on the ROG Ally X. And you mentioned the HX370 earlier. And the thing with that is that it is top of the line. It's relatively expensive to get a handheld with that. And in some cases, you're looking at almost a 100% increase in price, depending on what SKU and what format and setup you're going to go ahead and have. The beautiful thing that kicked off everything was the Steam Deck and the price point where it was at. When the Ally first came into the market, it was a little bit more expensive. The Ally X, a little tiny bit more expensive. But the jump from the Ally X to, let's say, I don't know, the F1 Pro from 1X player, like that's huge. That's a big jump. You're talking about anywhere between $500, $600, $700, you're talking about almost double the price. And that, when you're talking about the price to performance that's there, yes, you are going to get the top dog, but at that point, you know, is it really worth it? You know, and that's really what it comes down to.
And that's a great point. Is it really worth it? So to bring in some other topics relevant to that, upscaling technology, frame generation technology, can the Z1 Extreme keep up in 2025? Does it need the upscaling and frame generation technologies to be able to do that AMD can provide its APUs?
I think that we are hitting a point, especially with TSMC saying that their 2nm diode process is like they have the wafers ready. They're starting to go ahead and produce them and mass produce them. I think that we're starting to hit a point, and we've seen this also with the NVIDIA's 5000 series laptop included DGPUs. Those are essentially saying that we only have so much wattage that we can work with in a mobile platform, in a mobile chassis. And it's not like you're going to be sitting here carrying a 750, 1200 watt PSU to play on a handheld or to play on a laptop. That's a bit asinine, in my opinion. Instead, what you're looking at is you're looking at how you can get the best performance while maintaining battery life. And I hate to say it, I know that some people prefer to have, you know, everything running at native resolution and getting everything set up to look as it should without any sort of frame generation or AI input. But unfortunately, we're hitting that point where we are going to need that. My issue, personally, is I don't like it when developers rely on that technology to provide an experience that is acceptable. It should be acceptable without frame generation. When you put in frame generation, that's when you hit that 60 FPS mark. Like if you're hitting 45, 50 FPS on a game, no matter the settings, just, you know, in accordance to the setup that you have, it's understandable. But getting that frame gen in, getting FSR in, it should be enough to get you over that 60 FPS hump and have a smooth experience.
Yeah, and one feature that I really like, or experience rather, with the Z1 Extreme is being able to use that Radeon Chill technology, that's an AMD technology, and then target that playable frame rate between 30 and 45 when you're on the go. And with that 80 watt hour battery that you have in the ROG Ally X, that Radeon Chill technology, it just complements that greatly.
100%. And like that's the beauty of it, is that you don't, there are so many users that come to me and they don't know exactly what they're getting into, because some of them come from the Nintendo Switch world of things, because they're like, all right, these games are here, they're great, they're fine, but I want to play, you know, using Cyberpunk as an example, I want to play Cyberpunk on the go. And for some people that are coming in from the Switch to Cyberpunk, they're like, hey, you know what, 30 FPS is enough to keep me satisfied. If I can lock it at 30 FPS, I'm set. I don't have to worry about anything. And then there's some people that want to be able to maximize the frames that are coming in, lower down the resolution, use FSR. And that's the beauty that I love, not just of the Ally X, but just overall PC handhelds in general, having the flexibility of being able to tweak your own personal gaming experience.
Great points. Absolutely. Baldy Rudy, thanks so much for coming on to Quick Chat and sharing your knowledge and experience with us. Fans and subscribers, make sure to like and subscribe for more Quick Chat content. Baldy Rudy, take care.
Take it easy.